Welcome to Swarf and Chips. Now, we're really proud to say we've had over 10,000 views in the past 4 weeks, which is great news. Today on the show, we've got Jan from Subsea & Sea, and he's not going to be here in the form of a teddy bear. He's going to be here in person. However, coincidentally, at the beginning of last week's show, Richard Wells from Lubriserve wrote in, and here he is with us today. Hello, Richard.
Hi.
You were talking about vacuums at the beginning of the last week's show, and Joe, you got a little gift.
Yeah, just one of your vacuums, Richard, here to clean up.
Joe, that's obviously one that you clean your car with, to the shag pile carpet and the chenille seat covers. If you try to use one of our vacuums on that, you wouldn't have any carpet left in the car.
Right, okay, let's begin. So earlier we were discussing about how engineering companies don't really know all about the payback that you can get in investing in high quality coolant. Can you tell everyone a little bit more about that investment and the payback return?
Yeah, I mean, it never ceases to amaze me that companies start looking at the tool geometry to save 5% on tool life here, 5% there. With a coolant, you can 50% tool life increases is not uncommon.
Okay, so a company's going to save a lot of money in terms of not having to pay out for investment on tooling. Is there any other ways that they're going to save money?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Dependent on how they look after the coolant is very important. But if you've got the correct coolant, you get less drag out on the swarf, so your consumption goes down. The coolant lasts longer, so you don't have as much waste. You don't have to clean the machines out as often. So there's lots and lots of different savings you can acquire.
You talked about tool life. Is that only on your heat-resistant materials, or could that be across the whole spectrum?
No, absolutely, across all materials. But obviously it's more significant on the Inconels and harder materials, and obviously the tooling is more expensive for those. So yes, it has a bigger effect on hard materials. On the softer ones, surface finish, you can achieve a much better surface finish. So reaming aluminium, for example, you can achieve fantastic surface finishes with the right coolant.
Now, it was only last week on the show when, Joe, you mentioned that there's a new legislation for coolants and the disposal of these for 2017. What have you done to combat this? Okay,
well, the approach that Lubriserve take is you have to put the best fluid that you can possibly use into the machine, so you get the high surface finish, you get the long tool life, but you've got to lower the consumption because you want to keep your costs down. So look at the swarf as it comes out. Can we reclaim the fluid off that swarf? And there's a surprising amount of fluid on that. The weight of that swarf, 25% of the weight could be fluid, especially with neat oils. So can we get that back by centrifuging the swarf or by briquetting the swarf, claiming the fluid back, cleaning it up and putting it back into the system or machine? Several ways to do that. You can filter it or you can centrifuge it.
And this video here, that's a centrifuge, yeah?
Yes, that's an Alfie 500 high-speed mobile centrifuge. That will take the coolant and it will spin it at very high speed, 10,000 RPM, through 36 discs. So in effect, 36 times centrifuging at 10,000 RPM. So what that does is, as it spins, the particles will fly out to the side and be removed.
So is the only benefit looking after the coolant, or is there tool life advantages and things?
Well, there's both. I mean, when the particles are taken out, right down to 1 micron, so impossible to filter to that because it will rip the components of the coolant apart. But by centrifuging, you don't have that issue. It will also take the tramp oil out. I mean, we have several customers that, for example, ream aluminium, and they cannot achieve the surface finish without having an Alfie continually running on those machines. So it can have a huge effect.
Right, talking of equipment, the Lubrivac, it's your brand new machine that you've brought out. Can you talk to us about this?
Yeah, and the next area we look at is cleaning machines out. It's really important to start with a nice clean machine when you put a coolant in. Otherwise, it's a bit like taking a bottle of milk that's gone off, tipping it out, putting clean milk in, it goes off straight away.
Yeah.
Same with coolant. So to clean a machine out, you have to use antisep cleaner to pasteurise the machine and make sure all the swarf is taken out of that machine. So Lubrivac is a very powerful vacuum, but it can also take all the swarf chips out and it will take the fines out, filter the fluid, so you can either dispose of that fluid if it's not in a fit condition, or you can put it back into the machine.
And Lubrivac, it's your product, presumably?
It's our product, absolutely. No, we're not a distributor, no.
And it's brand new. So
brand new, so it's new to the UK market.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Richard, you just mentioned there about cleaning out a machine, and you have a special service that not many other companies provide. What's this?
Yeah, whenever we do a coolant trial, this is where it stemmed from really, because we said the machine needs to be very, very clean, we come and offer a cleaning service. So the machine, we put antiseptic cleaner in a couple of days before, and that will pasteurize the machine. But then we have equipment which is a pH clean tech unit, for example, that we sell, that will heat. You use coolant to clean the machine, so that's heated up to a low pressure vapor of 99 degrees. Spray inside the machine, washes all the dirt off, the ingrained tramp oil, so the machine looks almost brand new again. That will wash into the sump, so when we clean the sump out, all that will get taken out, and then we can refill the machine properly.
And how often would you do that? I know most companies I go to certainly don't do that, but how often should you do that practice?
Again, it depends on every application. If you're using something like an Alfie 500, the coolant could be in there. I mean, we've got coolant been in there 5 years in a single sump machine, but that's using an Alfie regularly, and that will keep all the contaminants out of the coolant, so it'll last a long time and stop the build-up of all the fines.
It doesn't matter if you live in a hard water area.
Well, it does, yeah, because the longer you make a coolant last, the harder and harder the water will get, because as it evaporates with the heat and spray, the water salts in there will get harder, and a lot of coolants don't like that, so it will get
You
to
look
a
nice
level.
and young on there, by the way. Is that an old video?
It's a very old video. You can see, maybe if you look at Paul, it really does emphasise that.
Don't. So, Richard, basically what you're saying is you'll go out to companies, you'll provide a deep clean for a machine, they get to trial your coolant, and then potentially you can go from there with that individual company.
Absolutely, and every time we trial one of our coolants, we're happy to put it in, and if they don't like it, they're not happy with the performance, don't pay for it. Simple as that.
Sounds good. Do you do the same service for a kitchen? We come in and clean my kitchen free of charge? And
I've seen the way Joe eats in his kitchen, so we're not going to offer that
We always
service.
talk about Joe eating on the show.
But he's got a hoover to clean everything.
Last but not least, you're actually hiring at the moment, is that right?
Yes, we are. We're growing quicker than we can handle, to be honest, and we're taking on for a sales engineer, and we also need a service engineer around the Midlands area at the moment. So,
Okay, and to contact you.
yep, contact me, write into
Sales and
info@lubriserve.com.
Wow.
I know we're coming to look at the new vacuums in January, but is there any offers available currently on those?
Yes, we'll be doing a New Year offer on those, so keep your eyes open and look on the latest news on the website.
Great, thank you so much for joining us, Richard.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for
Thanks,
inviting
Richard.
me.